I do wish, of course, speaking to your audience, that President Trump would now focus his attention on ending our shutdown by looking after the health care of Americans. I
Yeah.
wish he would stop sending our military into American cities and rather have our military do the job they were set out to do to protect
Yeah.
our nation
Well,
against outside forces.
we can talk now to, and welcome to the program, Wendy Sherman, who was Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under President Joe Biden. Wendy, welcome to you.
Good to be with you.
Really grateful to have you here. Can I just ask you this question first of all, Wendy? I mean, you were there with President Biden. Why, in your judgment, why was Donald Trump able to achieve what he achieved in a way that Joe Biden was simply not?
Oh, I think there are any number of factors. First and foremost, I want to say it is a good day. Hopefully, the Security Cabinet in Israel is saying yes. I expect them to do so. And for the hostage families, you just have to imagine the level of relief and joy that at the beginning of the next week, they will see their loved ones come home, even those who have passed away, to be able to give them a proper burial and to grieve their loss. So we need to remember there's a human dimension to this. This is quite important. I think President Biden had many of the elements of this plan, but I think that what's happened is when Prime Minister Netanyahu decided to attack inside of Qatar, trying to go after some of the Hamas leadership. It's not that people are in love with Hamas leadership, quite the opposite. They, after all, perpetrated October 7th, which was a horrific day for so many. But I think it changed world opinion. I think it put enormous pressure on the United States and gave President Trump, to his credit, the space to put pressure on the prime minister and to gather all of the leaders of the Abraham Accords and others to put pressure on Hamas. And President Trump had gotten an airplane from Qatar, quite a large investment. He had given Qatar basically in Article 5, if you're attacked, we'll come and support you after everything that happened with Israel. So I think this has been a series of steps that have led to this moment. And although I'm not politically a supporter of President Trump, and I was Deputy Secretary of State during the Biden administration, the president needs to get some credit for this moment,
Yeah.
which is such a human one. We have a lot left to go, however, after this first phase, which will be very complicated, very difficult, and as your previous guest said, may not get done easily, if at all.
I mean, well, your points, Wendy, do underline a truth, which is that for President Trump, the personal and the political are pretty much one and the same thing. I mean, the attack on Qatar, he seems to have taken personally. It enraged him. He saw the presence of America's strategic interest, the biggest base in the region in Qatar, as being not just a blow to the United States' strategic interest, but a slight to him. And
Yes.
it energized his anger, which he then directed at Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, Biden did have the option of focusing his energy in the same way. Is it fair to say, I want to bring in our colleagues in the studio, but is it fair to say, Wendy, briefly, that Joe Biden was maybe inhibited by his own support for Israel? He called himself a proud Zionist. He did not criticize Israel in the same way that he criticized the Palestinians and Hamas. I mean, but though when it came to Joe Biden, it's known, you know better than I do, he actually disliked Benjamin Netanyahu. But Trump, he flexed his muscles in a way that only Donald Trump would or could.
I suppose there is maybe some truth to that, but quite frankly, it's very hard to draw a straight line when it comes to any diplomacy. A whole bunch of factors have to come together, including the personal, including the political, but also where we are in the world. I do wish, of course, speaking to your audience, that President Trump would now focus his attention on ending our shutdown by looking after the health care of Americans. I wish he would stop sending our military into American cities and rather have our military do the job they were set out to do to protect our nation
Well,
against outside forces. But this is a good day for the Palestinians. This is a good day for Israel. But most of all, this is a good day for the hostage families.
Kate Ferguson from The Sun on Sunday is here with me, Kate.
Hi, Wendy. I wondered if I could ask you what your thoughts are now going forward in terms of a longer term peace there. We heard from a previous speaker saying how fraught with danger and difficulty that is. Do you think we're in a position now where we can look hopefully and realistically at peace in the Middle East?
Well, certainly, I think we can look hopefully. Realistically, the Middle East has disappointed so many presidents. I've worked for 3 presidents and 5 secretaries of state. I was with President Clinton at Wye River and Shepherdstown, and then a little bit of Camp David. I was doing some other things at the time. And quite frankly, President Clinton was so close to an agreement on a 2-state solution, but at the last minute, Yasser Arafat could not say yes. He could not get to yes. So many times in history, we have been very close to ensuring that Israel had peace and security and that Palestinians had a future of dignity and their own state. I hope we do get there. I would credit President Trump with a lot if he can help us get there. But as your previous speaker said, it is fraught, it is difficult, and it is a long path.
Okay, grateful for joining us. If we can get one more question to you from my colleague Rachel Cunliffe from The New Statesman.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you so much. Just to follow on from what you were saying, in your view, then, what does need to happen to give this plan and give the potential for a future peace the best chance of succeeding? What needs to happen in terms of the interim Gaza government authority that might be set up, and in terms of regional and global leaders? What do we need to see?
So I think what we need to see is to use the momentum of this first phase to keep going, to make sure the diplomacy continues, that we keep all of the Gulf Arab states, Turkey and others, Indonesia, involved and participating. I think it's critical also to, in this first phase, get humanitarian aid into Gaza so that the people in Gaza feel like there might be a chance for a future after over more than 60,000 deaths and just complete devastation to the Gaza Strip.
All right,
a lot of work ahead.
Wendy, thank you so much for coming on the programme this evening. Wendy Sherman there, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under President Biden.